Bend's neighborhoods are exploding with growth right now. From luxury homes on the west side to more affordable, family-friendly neighborhoods on the east. But if you're even thinking about moving to Central Oregon, it can feel overwhelming to figure out where you actually fit in. That's why today I'm breaking down Bend's top neighborhoods in 2025 so you can see exactly which community matches your stage of life, your budget, and your lifestyle priorities. And as a bonus, we're going to talk about where the market's at in each neighborhood so that you can be positioned to negotiate well. We're going to cover luxury neighborhoods commanding multi-million-dollar price tags, east side communities that are offering more space and affordability, and the family-friendly spots where trails, schools, and recreation are right out your back door. By the way, if we haven't met yet, my name is Luke Callahan. I'm a top realtor here in Bend, and every week I help families, retirees, and professionals relocate to Central Oregon. And today, I'm giving you an insider's look at Bend's most popular neighborhoods. If you're relocating to Bend from California or other high-cost markets and you're looking for that perfect blend of prestige, privacy, and unbeatable views, this is a neighborhood you're gonna want to pay attention to. Aubrey Butte sits just northwest of downtown Bend, perched on a hill, or a butte rather, that overlooks the city. It's part of Bend's west side, which means you're minutes away from the Deschutes River, downtown restaurants, and the cultural heartbeat of the city, but you're up on the hill, so you're secluded and kind of out of the fray in the quiet, tucked away custom homes that are all over the butte. Now, what makes Aubrey Butte really special is the elevation. From almost any home up here, you'll enjoy panoramic views of either the Cascade Mountains to the west, the river below, or the city lights twinkling at night. Getting downtown's easy. You'll take Northwest Mount Washington Drive or Summit Drive down to 12th. There you are, right downtown Bend. That means dinner downtown, a show at the Tower Theater, or grabbing coffee at Lone Pine is never more than a quick drive down the hill, and all of a sudden you're right in the action. Well, because Aubrey Butte is primarily largely residential, you won't find a ton of shops within the neighborhood itself, but more so just below the butte. The appeal is that all the close proximity is everything you need. So you'll have Newport Market, you got Spork, which is incredible. If you haven't tried it, you gotta try that. And then also one of my favorites, Nancy P's Bakery. And so this covers your groceries, your restaurants, fitness studios, coffee shops. It's got it all just right at the base of the hill. It's pretty cool. If you're an outdoor lover, you've got the Aubrey Reservoir Off-Leash Park, plus access to Shevlin Park, as well as the Riley Ranch Nature Reserve and the Deschutes River Trail. So you got it all. And if you're a golfer, you've got River's Edge Golf Course, as well as Aubrey Glen Golf Club. They're basically at your doorstep. And of course, if you're a skier, Mount Bachelor is an easy jaunt, 25 minutes away. So while this neighborhood is tucked away up on the hill, you're never far from Bend's most popular recreation and dining spots. So who is moving to Aubrey Butte? Who really loves it up here? Aubrey Butte really tends to attract people who are looking for the luxury, the privacy, and the views while still having easy access all over town. This is a community of custom homes largely built in the 90s and 2000s. Large lots, dramatic architecture, and plenty of privacy. It's great for executives, retirees, or families who want the long-term home in Bend. The price points are higher up here. What you're really buying here is the combination of location, access to everything, and the simplicity piece that comes with being up on the butte. So if you're someone who wants to walk to a brewery every night, this might not be the right spot because the elevation's no joke. And if that's the case, you're probably better off in River West or Old Bend. But if you want to come home to a quiet street, sit on your deck with a glass of wine and take in the big views, then Aubrey Butte is going to feel like you're on top of the world. So that's Aubrey Butte. Quiet, luxury, big views, and a short drive to everything Bend has to offer. Now let's look at the numbers, because Aubrey Butte is actually in quite a distinct position relative to the other neighborhoods in the fact that it's one of the markets here that's softened the quickest, aka the prices have started to come down the quickest out of any of the other neighborhoods. So there's some really interesting aspects to that. The median sale price is about $1.3 million, which is down around 6 to 7% from last year. The other thing to know is the days on market has gone up to 35 from 26 last year, which isn't a huge increase, but it's some. And sales volume is also lower than last year. So what does all this mean, and why is it actually really good? Well, because we've seen all-time highs for prices in Aubrey Butte, the fact that the prices are starting to come down, the days on market's coming up, It means that you as a buyer today have more negotiating room in a market that was once peaked out, overheated. Now we're seeing homes go for about 8 to 10% below listing price. So if you're looking to buy an Aubrey Butte, make sure you have a good negotiation strategy ready to go. Understand that the list price, you're probably going to be able to get at least 5% of a discount, if not upwards of 8 to 10 or even more. Now, from the mountain views and privacy, let's shift by walking down the butte, across the river, and let's talk about vibrant, walkable heart of Bend, Old Bend. This is really the heart and soul of Old Bend. You know, it's like the old bungalows, the craftsmen, the houses that were built with very little insulation. Luckily, a lot of them have been retrofitted. If you want walkability, historic charm, and being steps away from downtown, the river, and even the Hayden Homes Amphitheater, this is the kind of neighborhood that my new to Bend clients fall in love with immediately. The folks that want to live in Bend, walk in Bend, and park their car and let it gather dust for weeks at a time, this is the neighborhood for that. Let's talk about the location of Old Bend. Old Bend sits right adjacent to downtown, occupying the core blocks near the river and the central business district. You're flanked by the Deschutes River to the west and downtown restaurants, shops, breweries, and cultural venues just steps away. This is where Bend's energy pulses. It's not a super dense neighborhood, but it's at the heart of everything. So walking from Old Bend, you can be in the Old Mill District, the downtown core, Drake Park, or even along the riverfront within minutes. Because you're in the densest, most central part of the city, many errands or nightly outings become foot trips or bike trips and not drives. And that's amazing. Okay, so what are some of the best amenities in Old Bend? For one, you've got access to Market of Choice. And then you've got Pod Ski, which again is host to a bunch of amazing food carts. And I'll never shut up about Americana because I think their smash burgers are the best in Oregon and they've got a great mission. And then you've got the Crosscut Warming Hut if you want to get a drink and sit in front of the fire in the evening. You can't beat it. And then, of course, Jackson's Corner for brunch or dinner. Having a glass of wine in the evening is unbeatable. And there's so many great amenities, so many great food options, beverage options. I mean, you just go on a walking tour and you won't be disappointed. And of course, because you're at the heart of it, the Old Mill District is very close as well. It's a short walk or a bike ride across the river to the mixed-use district where you've got the shops, the galleries, Hayden Homes Amphitheater, the bike path, the waterfront park. It's all right there ready for you. So again, who is Old Bend for? Old Bend's ideal for people who want to be a part of the action. This is for those who want to park the car, let it gather dust, walk to dinner, stroll to a brewery, catch the live music at Hayden Homes without getting in the car and feeling deeply part of the urban fabric. Now, the thing to know about Old Bend here is because it's the older inventory with the best location, you're paying a premium for location. The homes are like the old bungalows, again, where I've remodeled old homes like these that were built in the 20s, and you literally, open it up and it's insulated with newspaper from the 1920s, which is cool, but the R value of that is pretty low. So be mindful of that. If you're looking for something that's been remodeled, refurbished, you're going to pay a premium for it. Now, with that said, I have friends who bought here, rehabbed their place, and then even built an ADU, and then it's basically like an equity builder where they'll build the ADU, move into the brand new ADU so they get all the amenities of new construction, and they'll rent out or even subdivide the lot and sell the house to cover the cost of the ADU. So there's still a lot of lots that have the potential for densification. So don't rule that out, because in Bend you can actually build 2 ADUs on each lot, and the city of Bend wants to get denser, wants to grow up. So smart, wise densification is a real possibility here. But again, just make sure you're buying the charm of the location and the charm of the 100-year-old house insulated with newspaper. So let's look at the numbers of what's going on in Old Bend these days. So the median sales price is around $940,000, which is up about 8% from last year. Now remember Aubrey Butte, that's actually down from last year, but here in Old Bend, up 8%. That's still climbing. The median days on market, now this is a game changer. 82 days, up 43 days from last year, where it was 39 days. So that's a huge increase. Sale to list price ratio, so how much is it being offered for versus what does it actually go for? Last year, 98.2%. This year, 93%. So understand that with this peaked market, the slower days to sell, and the sales price just starting to come down about 7%, 6.5% from the list price. The market here is more stable, it's climbing, and it's really tied to the lifestyle more than the land. So really, you might pay a little bit more of a premium, but if you love the location, and bonus points if you have your eyes on ADU development as an equity builder, you're going to be stoked on Old Bend. Okay, so from downtown Old Bend, let's head back over to the west side to two of Bend's fastest growing family favorites, River West and Summit West. River West is situated just west of the Deschutes River on the slopes of above the river corridor. It's nestled between the river, trails, and other west side neighborhoods. You get the short drives into downtown, like just down Newport or Galveston across the bridge, and you're there. Summit West is higher up. It's the Butte portion of the west side, kind of up on a plateau in a way, up above the river corridor, providing the elevated vistas across the city, the canyon, and the Cascades. Think of it as like the premium Upper West Side, and the drive from Summit West is longer, albeit it's still easy to jam into downtown. It might be another 5 minutes beyond, but that's not a big deal. Unless you're going through a school zone at school pickup or drop-off times, in which case you're going to wish you had a helicopter. Anyways, in both neighborhoods, you enjoy a balance. You're removed enough to feel the quiet residential, but you're close enough to the daily access of downtown. And the key difference between the two locations, I think if you really want that walkable, bikeable lifestyle, you can have it more easily with River West. Okay, let's talk about the amenities of River West. The two main drags in River West are Newport and Galveston Street. On Newport, you've got Newport Market, like I mentioned earlier, Back Porch Coffee, Nancy P's Bakery, and more. On Galveston, you've got one of the best Mexican spots in town in El Sancho. With the popularity of El Sancho, you're going to get something amazing with this new barbecue joint. Because River West is closer to the river corridor, many homes have direct access to the riverfront trails and quick access to the river points that Summit West does not. Summit West is high enough up that it's a stretch to get to the river. And if you want that quieter aspect, you'll love it. Like River West gets busy in the summer with tubing traffic, tourist traffic. So if you want to be out of the fray of that summer tourist traffic, Summit West is the draw. The main drag in Summit West is Northwest Crossing Drive, where you have Sparrow Bakery, where you get the lines out the door for the delicious cardamom ocean roll. And right across the street, you've got La Rosa, which is, in my opinion, one of the best. So each of these neighborhoods gives you a different flavor of West Side luxury. River West is more of that river proximate, walkable, bikeable, integrated neighborhood where, again, you can kind of park your car for a while and let it gather dust. So if price isn't an option between Summit West and River West, who's the right fit for each one? Okay, River West, again, you're closer to the river, so you're going to get more of the fray of that really busy tourist season where tubing, like parking with tubing, goes crazy, tourists flooding all the neighborhoods and restaurants during the summertime. But you get that walkable, bikeable access where you can really, truly park your car for days or weeks at a time and just enjoy that neighborhood bikeable feel. Whereas Summit West, you're getting the newer, higher end, even custom homes. So if you're really into that like bigger lot size, you want closer access to, say, Shevlin Park or mountain biking trails, or even easier access to the mountain, Summit West is going to be the ticket for you. Now let's look at the market data to see how these two stack up, and then you can really get a sense of kind of the big differences in demand in these two neighborhoods currently. So let's look at how these two neighborhoods are performing. Summit West, the median sales price is $1.2 million, which is down 2% from last year. The days on market is 35, which is up from last year. While River West, the median sales price, $897,500 over the past 12 months, which is up 3% from last year. So that's a big difference. So days on market is comparable for each of them, but River West at the lower price point, relatively right around $900,000, came up 3% from last year, while Summit West came down 2%. So what does that say? I think that kind of speaks to like what we saw with Aubrey Butte. The luxury markets are softening faster, which makes sense. There's fewer buyers. There's always higher days on market for the luxury markets. And then the prices are softening the premium, the luxury markets, and the walkable, bikeable neighborhoods like Old Bend, prices come up. Now, again, the days on market have come up, but they're at 27 days. Compare that to Old Bend, which is, 83? So River West is really a value buy right now. The prices come up. We're probably at that plateau, but the days on market really hasn't spiked much, not nearly as much relative to Old Bend. So again, there's a lot of value to be had in this River West walkable, bikeable market. And keep that in mind if you're going to buy a place and you want to sell it in the future. The closer it is to the downtown core, the lower the price point, the closer it is to the Bend's overall median of 700 and change, you're going to have an easier time selling it in the future. Old Bend for walkable, vibrant downtown living, and similar for River West, while Summit West for those who want the views and they want the luxury housing, the premium market, access to all the schools and trails and all the good things the West Side has to offer. So you want something a little bit more affordable than that cheap price of $895,000 in River West or $1.3 in Summit West? Then let's head over into the often overlooked Boyd Acres and see how it compares across these axes. Quite a shift jumping from the West Side over to Boyd Acres. And I'm calling Boyd Acres the value play. The reason is that this neighborhood strikes a comfortable balance between the suburban feel and the city access. Boyd Acres is in Northeast Bend. It's a great option for people relocating who want more space, good schools, and value. It's really like the foothold into Bend. If you're trying to get into Bend and you want all that Bend has to offer, Boyd Acres really fits that bill. And one of the reasons that Boyd Acres is crushing it lately is because you know who just moved to the neighborhood. That's right, we're all suckers for Costco. Hate to admit it, but I have to. And speaking of which, what's your guilty pleasure that you get at Costco? Again, this is a safe space. I won't tell anybody. But let me know what you get in the comments below. Mine is that $2.99 chicken bake. I'm probably dying one chicken bake at a time, but it's totally worth it, I hope. So Boyd Acres lies in the northeast quadrant of Bend between US Highway 97 and the northeastern city limits. It's not in the core at all. It's really on the northern edge, but it's well positioned for access, especially if you have to commute like up to Redmond or Sisters or anywhere north of town. And you can use Northeast Empire Avenue, but be mindful that that is one busy avenue. This neighborhood is as close as we get to diverse as far as housing types, zoning types, etc. You've got everything from Costco comes the other big box stores like Home Depot, Lowe's, and Target. Let's talk about a few of the things happening in Boyd Acres. First up, there's some new construction. Lennar is building Acadia Point here. This is a 6-phase, 141 home subdivision. Basically, we're looking at homes ranging from $550,000 to $730K, so kind of that entry-level price point for Bend. The sizes are 1,500 square feet to 2,600, 3 to 4 bedrooms, 2 to 3.5 baths. Even more fun is let's talk about a park, and it's one of my favorite parks in all of Bend, and that is Pine Nursery Park. So for all you pickleballers out there, this is the spot. The vision and growth, it's getting better and better. There's ongoing development, and that is Phase 5, which is currently underway. The park is still growing. We're talking about future enhancements like lighting, turf, infields, additional courts, ADA upgrades, more infrastructure is all part of the plan. So what have we learned about Boyd Acres? It's an attractive, affordable, accessible gateway into Bend. It's basically like if you're trying to get into Bend, price is a big factor, but you want a lot of core amenities, easy commutes. Boyd Acres is really worth considering, especially if you like parks and pickleball. We are going to talk about the numbers for Boyd Acres. Where's the value in Boyd Acres? I'll tell you where the value is. The median sales price is about $674,000. That's down just 1% year over year, so it's pretty stable, just down 1%. But check this out. The homes are actually selling faster than they were last year, which is a rarity across Bend. 29 days on the market versus 39 last year. With this tiny price dip, buyers are still snapping up homes faster, which shows this neighborhood is a value play compared to the west side, right? Now let's head southward and let's look at Southeast Bend. This is a neighborhood that has a ton of growth going on and some good future upside. Southeast Bend is one of the areas getting a ton of buzz. It bridges more rural surroundings with city access and is becoming a go-to for people who want value, newer homes, and room to breathe. Let's get into it. Southeast Bend lies, as you'd expect, on the southeast quadrant of the city. It really butts up against the urban growth boundary, just east of US 97, the Highway 97, And it really comes up against the open edges, the rural roads, the natural terrain, and the future growth corridors of Bend. You'll use roads like Southeast Reed Market, Southeast 3rd, and Knott Road to get into town. Commutes to downtown might take 15 to 20 minutes, depending on traffic and your exact spot in the neighborhood. There aren't as many coffee shops and restaurants out here. There's plans for them to come, which is the potential for the value to rise, which we'll talk about in a bit. So just be mindful of that. Without further ado, I want to talk about Stevens Ranch, which is the new construction out here. This is a big deal because this is the largest master plan community in Bend and one of the largest in the state's history. It's currently in phase 1 of 2. There's 2 grand phases. And phase 1 is being built by D.R. Horton and Stonebridge Homes. This is a huge development that's going to be phasing up for years to come, and I want you to get to know it really well to see if it's a good fit for you. And most importantly, around Stevens Ranch here is fronting on Stevens Ranch, just west of Stevens Ranch, we have the brand new Central Library. This is a huge deal, scheduled to be done in 2026. And it's an awesome building and a huge resource for the community for many years to come. Imagine a library that's not just a building with books, but it's a vibrant, flexible hub for connection, creativity, and community. What's the vision here? The vision is to make this like the gathering place for community, the place to learn, to craft, to interact with your community, this hub. And it's really cool. And I think it's going to bring a lot of energy. There's even the Children's Discovery Center, teen lounge, and flexible creative DIY spaces. Anyways, architectural design, it's cool. It's super cool. It's designed to bring in a ton of daylight, to make it a really nice place to come in and spend time. Don't fall asleep. Everybody knows you're not allowed to fall asleep in the library. I just can't get over when a city has the foresight to really invest in the community for the long term. And I think a city that truly invests in its children. Let's talk about the data. Let's talk about the market in Southeast Bend. Here's where Southeast Bend is trending lately. You get the median sales price in August 2025 looking like $726,500, which is up 7.2% from last year. So that's comparable to Old Bend, which was 8% and change. That's solid appreciation. So it's showing that there's value growth here. We haven't seen the prices come down too much. There's a little bit of wiggle room in the negotiation of listing price versus sales price, but really this market, because of all the new construction, and with that a lot of the homes get sold. They've got the deals through the new home construction lenders. So what's our takeaway? Southeast Bend is definitely showing momentum. It's going to change a lot in the next 5 years. There's a ton of new construction. That library is a huge growth anchor. So being anywhere around that library, I think you're going to see values appreciate, but just be mindful of the traffic that could come along with it. Now, with so many different neighborhoods and price points across Bend, it can feel really overwhelming to figure out where you actually belong. That's why I've created a neighborhood quiz. It's fun. It's a little goofy, but basically you can put in question by question, who are you, your personality type, and figure out which neighborhood is a match for you. So if you're into it, if you're watching on the TV, you can scan the QR code that you see right now with your phone's camera. Click that link and go from there. And if you're watching on your phone or laptop, you can just click the link in the description and get to the neighborhood quiz. Figure out which neighborhood is right for you. Let me know in the comments below which neighborhood you've learned the most about, which you're most interested in, which you want to hear more about in the future. And as always, if you're moving to Bend and you're ready to roll, make sure you give me a call or email in time, and I would love to be the resource for you. I help families and retirees and professionals relocate to Bend every single week, and I love it. I can't get enough of it. I'm an expert in the new construction realm, so if you want to buy new construction, hit me up, and I would love to help you out the best way that I can. And don't worry if it's even a few months or years from now, we'll get you pointed in the right direction, and when the time comes, you'll be the savvy buyer. You'll have passed the neighborhood quiz, and you'll be ready to find your perfect home. Until next time, I'm Luke Callahan. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.